Hey everyone, it's me, Jamo. Yeah, more Let's Play thingies coming, just don't worry about that. I'm here to talk about an event that happened recently, Blizzcon, and I feel that I should give my, 2 cents about how I feel as a long-term player of World of Warcraft. I mean, seriously, third of my life. Been playing for some time, on and off to various degrees, but I thought I'd just, give what I have to think or I have to say whatever about the new expansion, about the direction they're going, and what I like and what I don't like, and about the game now, and what they look to be making with the game. Okay, for starters, a bit of history. I think I should give the whole how I started, how I got from point A to place B, and, whatever. So, man, am I nervous today. I don't know what it is. I'm just not at my A game for commentary. I think I need some drugs. So, I started playing way back in vanilla. I leveled a paladin. I ignored almost all the quests, just explored and dinked around because this was before the game was idiot-proof. It was sort of, It was an MMO in the most old-school traditional sense, like EverQuest. It was still good. I had a lot of fun. I have a lot of fond memories of it, but ultimately I wouldn't want to go back to that style. It doesn't do it for me. It's old. It's quite antiquated. I don't see MMOs of that style ever being big again, because things are now about convenience, about visceral gameplay. There's always room for traditional RPGs. I think there should be. They always have that market for people who like the statistical aspects of things. So I liked it. I quit very quickly once I maxed out my level. I got bored. There just wasn't much doing it for me in this game anymore. So I got into Burning Crusade, and a similar thing happened. I really liked playing it. I got to level 70. I got bored, because I didn't have the time or commitment or patience for hardcore raiding. It wasn't my game. It wasn't, I realized at that point I pretty much liked WoW for its mythology, its universe, its, just its fantasy and its visuals. Okay, it's not a graphical powerhouse, but at the same time, Blizzard has a great art team. Some of the best art I think I've seen in an MMO. They really have creative vision when they create something. It's not just it's a lot of mix of things. Like, I like how in WoW there's like savannas and like African environments and stuff like that. So many fantasy MMOs just have the standard England, medieval, forests, castles. WoW is good because it makes it feel more like a world, like there's diversity in its culture, and that's very appealing to me. So, besides that, I quit Burning Crusade. I came out once Sunwell was released, simply because the daily quests. I could get gear and I could get more powerful through the Shattered Sun offensive thing on Quel'Danas. It was fun. I had a good time. I didn't get exalted, but I got pretty close. But again, this was just, I want something to do in the world that doesn't require a tremendous amount of commitment. But you know what? It was good times. I had a lot of fun with Burning Crusade, even if it's not probably my least favorite expansion. Blasphemy! But that's just how I felt. It wasn't my game quite yet. Wrath of the Lich King came, and I gotta say, from an art style perspective, it's probably my favorite expansion. As well as for story perspective, it's probably my favorite expansion. It was good stuff. I really like Wrath of the Lich King. It's the only place in only expansion I actually get genuinely like nostalgic for. I wouldn't want to go back to Burning Crusade. I wouldn't want to go back to Cataclysm or Vanilla. I would be interested in reliving my memories with Wrath of the Lich King. It's still one of my favorites. Now, I kept playing. I enjoyed it. I love these Ice Crown 5-mans. I never got into hardcore raiding. I did the first tier, and I got a bit into Ulduar, but I didn't get very far. So, yeah, good expansion. Cataclysm came out, and the thing about Cataclysm was the 1 to 60 reboot, like the whole remaking the old world, that's great. I loved that. I thought that was much needed. I had no interest in rolling alts once I got, up until that point. I had two main characters. I had, well, my mage, my Draenei, took over the position of my main on Alliance side in Wrath of the Lich King, because I just got bored of Paladins. They didn't do it for me anymore, though they're better now. And so I ended up really enjoying Cataclysm's level reboot, but endgame was the pits. I wasn't that fond of its endgame. The new zones, they had some good art, but it lacked that sense of wonder and like, wow, this is amazing. Though, unlike a lot of people, I did like Vashj'ir, the whole underwater zone. It was really, in my opinion, like the highlight. And I know that sounds crazy, as people seem to hate Vashj'ir, but I think from an art style perspective, it's one of the greatest accomplishments in WoW. It looks beautiful. And there's moments in that zone that just make me drop my jaw and think, wow, Blizzard has a real creative vision when it comes to environments. So yeah, I liked that. That was the, like, holy smokes, my jaw is dropping moment. Every expansion so far has had that kind of moment. Though actually I think Mists of Pandaria is probably the... well, I'll get to there. So I enjoyed Cataclysm. I hated the endgame. I ended up playing... what should you call it? Yeah, I ended up getting to the point where I was burnt out and I had... I stopped playing. Then the looking for raid thing came out with Deathwing. I played that. I actually really enjoyed that despite its problem, because I'm a casual player and looking for raid offered a niche for me, so I was happy that existed. But yeah, I got burnt out, Deathwing got boring. I ended up saying, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna actually really get into Horde, and I ended up rolling a Horde tune, you know, not thinking I'm ever going to get into it, but I enjoyed the questing experience so much again. If it wasn't for that reboot, I probably wouldn't have the longevity. Cataclysm wouldn't have had the longevity it is, because I found a new guild on a Horde server. They're gone now. But, it was good stuff. It really pulled me into this, sense of, like, wow, I'm actually enjoying the game from a whole new perspective, and I gotta give Cataclysm that, it did convince me to try new things. Because it was just too tedious before Cata to want to try new things. And so Cataclysm came and went. I thought it was around for way too long. It really didn't fit the ticket compared to the past expansions. Mists of Pandaria came out, and I remember when it was announced, everyone was like, oh, Kung Fu Panda and all that, but you know what, I was interested because I trust Blizzard from an art creative standpoint to take something that was sort of a joke and make it into something great, and I thought they did it pretty well. The art's great. It's kind of cool to see WoW's take on the Far East. Yeah, it was a very refreshing environment. There's stuff I like. I'm going to go ahead and say this. It's much, much better than Cataclysm. I felt there were issues. Like, people have issues with the daily quests. I sort of thought, like, it's better than Cataclysm's system, because while Cataclysm had a lot that sucked about its endgame, like, you could actually play Mists of Pandaria like you played Cataclysm. You just have to ignore the, you just kind of have to ignore the, what you call it, dailies. Just run, you could play it like Burning Crusade, for heaven's sakes. You could just ignore the dailies, ignore all the questing content, and just, go, raid with your friends once a week and go through the whole I have no gear phase that every expansion's had. So yeah, I'd actually say that from a balanced perspective, like in terms of having the best of what I want as a player, Mists of Pandaria was the best. But I like the environment and all that. I wasn't as wowed as I was from Wrath of the Lich King. And I don't know if it's the game's age, because the art is just gorgeous. But I'm going to think of, like, I don't know exactly what it was. I really did enjoy it, but it's not like maybe it was just the questing experience. Leveling through Pandaria isn't that fun. It really wasn't. Environment-wise, it was cool, but I didn't care enough about the conflict, really, like I did in Wrath of the Lich King. I mean, I thought the lore was great. I thought the whole Alliance and Horde conflict spiraling out of control, that was great stuff. I don't really have any complaints with that. I thought it was very true to the whole orcs versus humans feel of the old days. And the next expansion is kind of continuing that trend of being very traditional WoW. Or Warcraft, I mean, in general. So yeah, I have issues. The what do you call it? The scenario system. It was good, in my opinion, but not great. It really needed more. It needed I would have done it a lot different. I like the idea. I think it's good to provide some kind of content or some kind of challenges to fill the void between the big content patches. I think that's a great idea. It just needs to be better content. There were a few scenarios I really did genuinely think were pretty fun, but a lot of them I just didn't like. If you want to know one of my least favorite things in Miss Pandaria, it was the scenario Unga Ingu. That one was a freaking mess. You have people never know what they're doing, and it takes forever, and people start dropping out. It's just not very well designed at all. If I were to change things, I would probably, have more conventional gear drops, even if they're just randomly generated loot, like, sort of like how Diablo does it. Diablo 3, like, it would be cool if we killed stuff and loot dropped, and it would just sort of be a sorted, random thing of the bulldog or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but that I found a lot more would make it a lot more compelling. I also think they need to make the scenarios more linear and focused on just killing with story to immerse people like me who are lore fans who don't who want to save the complicated mechanics for raids. So, okay. The expansion is still going, and I do genuinely enjoy it. I leveled up this priest in Mr. Pandaria, and I really like her, my panda girl. She's awesome. So, after that, so now on to BlizzCon, the stuff you guys want to hear about. I'm going to pretty much leave the bulk of that for the next instance, because, I think I'm going to have this split into parts. Basically be sort of my WoW retrospective BlizzCon coverage, if you call it that. It's pretty much over. Ooh, can I use this for transmog? What's the Blood Weeper look like? It's a very generic looking dagger. Forget it. I'm just going to sell that.
Work, champions. We shall set up our base camp in these chambers.
So see you next time. I'm going to talk about Warlords of Draenor in the next instance. Thank you.